Welcome back to the 2013 Healing with Horse Telesummit, where we're sharing new tools and inspiration to take your healing practice with horse to the next grandest level this year. I'm Dr. Jen, and I'm hanging out with Serendipity, the head of my healing herd. And today we had a really enlightening and eye-opening, in fact a paradigm-shifting session with Tim and Bettina Jobe over at Natural Lifemanship. And they were really helping us to open our eyes about a new form of, actually I guess it's not so new, they've been doing it for a long time, trauma-focused equine-assisted psychotherapy. But they are really bringing some new understandings to how this horse work works. And I just absolutely loved all of the things that they shared. They took some things that we normally take as for granted, like in this field, for instance, that the human needs to be the leader for the horse, that horses are mirrors, that we should use horses as metaphors. They took all of these pretty much common ideas, Saren, and pretty much put them on their heads. And so they were really inviting us to think of things in a new way. But what I loved about what they shared, what's going on over there? Was the idea about how trauma affects the brain and how working with the horses can actually rewire the brain to heal the trauma. And they were talking about the importance of helping horses and humans create cross-brain connections so that what happens in trauma is that people go into the deeper parts of the brain, the reactive part of the brain, and they just react like that with an old pattern. And that the work with the horses helps create these cross-brain connections that gives people the time to make a choice, to respond instead of react. And they really showed us some really nice examples of how mounted work on horses can create these new cross-brain connections. And the thing that probably made the most sense to me, that really brought it home, was they were talking about an example of what happens when a horse spooks at a plastic bag, And if a horse hasn't been shown that a plastic bag isn't scary, most horses just react. They go into the lower parts of their brain, the emotional instinctive part, and they react to run away. And that's the same thing that happens in trauma brains. People who've had trauma just react. They go into the emotional part of the brain and they react. And so they were saying, we have ways of working with the horses to show them that the bag, or at least to give them the choice to check out to see if the bag is dangerous or not, right? And so it creates, health becomes that moment of choice where I stop to see, is that bag safe or is it really dangerous for me, right? And that's how we can work with horses, to create that moment of choice where they can decide that bag isn't really so scary and they don't have to spook. And we can do that for humans as well. And so what I really loved about what they shared is that something that's good for the horses, like helping them understand about the plastic bag, the process that helps them is also good for humans. And so they really invited us to consider developing our programs in ways that are mutually beneficial to the horse and the human, because we're working with the same sorts of underlying brain processes in both beings. So, as I said, it's pretty much a paradigm shifting, right, Saren? Paradigm shifting session. So I hope to see you guys over there real soon. It'll be available for 48 hours for free. Until next time, may the heart of horse be with you.